Okay, here we go. All right, so we are continuing our training, how to build a developed and civilized nation. How to build a developed and civilized nation. And the topic of today...
I think I'll be doing that.
Okay. So, but then you have to promise me that you are not going to go to sleep. All right, the topic of today is principles of transformation of a nation through work, diligence, finances, money. But I spoke about work a little bit yesterday, but we are going to continue it today, the principle of work, how the principle of work and labor is essential. Work, diligence, and labor is essential in transforming a nation. I've written some books on this subject. One of the books is Workaholic, Why You Must Urgently Become a Workaholic.
Pastor, sorry. The good news is it's still showing the way we usually do it. Yes, it's still showing on the screen. Both screen, you are in the presentation. So just so you know that you can, but I don't know why you can't control it from your side.
Did you people... Did you put it, did you connect it? Yes, you have to connect it. And then
so I'm just going to control it myself, but you can't do it, unfortunately.
Yeah, did you check it here? Did you check the battery? And
Yes.
because when you plug it to the new computer, you're supposed to set it up there. Anyway, maybe you do it during the break. So, where are the books? Let me see give me a copy of Why You Must Urgently Become a Workaholic and Labor is Better Than Favor. All right. Yeah, bring it. No, he's bringing them. Yeah, labor is better than favor, workaholic, and which one did I write about work again? Yeah, I think you people, this one is called Work is Better Than Vacation, Labor Better Than Favor. And then Why You Must Urgently Become a Workaholic. Why am I doing this? Because I'm intentional. Because I want to counteract what the GOs and the pastors are doing. Not just in Nigeria, but in most of the charismatic circles, which is they are teaching that favor is better than 1 day of favor is better than 20 years of labor. So I wrote a book, Labor is Better Than Favor. Work is better than vacation. And here I'm trying to kill two birds. Because labor is better than favor, that is for the Africans. But for the Europeans, work is better than vacation. Because they are all dreaming of vacation. Yeah, so that's why this book is written. And then Why You Must Urgently Become a Workaholic is for everybody as well. So, but let's see how labor, diligence, work could be used as a principle to develop a nation. Here we go. Yep.
Proverbs chapter 10, verse 4. He who has a slack hand becomes poor, but the hand of the diligent makes rich.
So it doesn't matter how much you pray. If you have a slack hand, Proverbs 10:4 says, he who has a slack hand becomes poor. So the same thing could be said about countries and nations. So nations that have slack hand will become poor. A country that has slack hand is going to be poor. So either you like it or not, It is not prayers that develop a nation. It is not religious activity that develops a nation, you say. If a nation will be so religious, prayerful, and do everything right, religious-wise, but if they are slack, not even being lazy, but just slack. And the difference between being lazy and slack is that laziness is just like you don't want to work. But in Africa, we work, but we are slack. We are not compacted. We are not, it's not coordinated. We are not moved. We are not driven. We are relaxed. We are slack. We do it at our own pace, at our own convenience. We are just slack. And that is the basis for poverty. So, but in Europe, you cannot be slack because everything. You cannot afford to be slack. If you are slack, you will not be able to pay for your insurance. You will not be able to drive your car. You will not be able to live in your house. You will not be able to pay for your medicals. You are out in the street if you are slack. But in Africa, if you are slack, no problem. Your relatives will do something. You have your father's house. Do you know that in Europe there are no things like father's house? No father's house. You have to go and work for your own house. So we are slack. And that is one culture that must be altered and changed. We need to be able to teach our people and train them and convince them that we need to, so when I see our pastors talking about one day of favor, I say, don't people know the word of God? I mean, it's like people are reading. I don't even know what's wrong with the church in Africa right now because it's like, either they are reading another Bible or they are not really taking the word of God serious. Because even the word of God says, go to the ant and learn. I mean, all of Proverbs is full of all kind of encouragement to work and, don't be lazy, don't be slack, don't do that. And where do they bring that from, that one day of favor? Instead of encouraging people in diligence, instead of pushing people, and the church is supposed to be the standard in hard work. I mean, God said he works. Jesus said he must work because his Father works. So what explanation can we have? Because it is the spirit of the world that doesn't want to labor. It is the spirit of the world. So it means that the church now is trying to play along the flesh of the people, trying to tell them what they need to hear. The flesh wants to relax, so you can't find a doctrine that will suit them so that they keep on coming to church. The flesh wants to have something for nothing. So you start a doctrine to tell them they will get breakthrough. The flesh wants to just rejoice and just be entertained and live in pleasure. So you come up with doctrines, that, Oloro Boboro or something they call it. And experience, and you just come up with entertainment, what they call it, comic or what they call it. They call it something. Comedians, yes. You begin to bring them to the church and because people want to laugh, people want pleasure. So you turn church to pleasure center. Even though the Bible says that run away from people who jest, who are joking too much, who are laughing too much. Life is not about laughter. Life is serious. But you make a whole church become a center for laughter. So it's all messed up. It's the opposite of the word of God in every ramification. Just in a quest to keep people. I mean, you go find out how many scriptures that are against people just empty laughter joking, jokes. I mean, everywhere. And then you went and it's one thing for you, instead of you to even preach against that it shouldn't be happening in the society. Now you made the church the center of that thing. You're supposed to be preaching against the society not being lazy, but you now make the church the headquarters of laziness. People want to do inferior, substandard work. People want to cut corners. Everybody wants to cut corners. That's the flesh. Every one of us has it. So the flesh already wants to do what is horrible. So he's only looking for any encouragement. Now the church became the encouragement for you to cut corners, whereby you are supposed to come to God to be delivered from it. There is just no way I will keep quiet. I'm sorry. There is just, if I'm to keep quiet, I would rather die than keep quiet. It is too much. It's just, I don't know anybody that has the fear of God or conscience that will keep quiet and say, I don't want to offend people. I don't get it. So, but the most deadly doctrine that is in the church right now is the doctrine of breakthrough, witches and wizards, deliverance, saying any problem you have is you don't need to improve yourself. You don't need to question yourself. You don't need to, change your nature. You need to look for who is responsible. You need to look for the enemy that is responsible. So the paganistic tendencies of looking for who to blame rather than what to change in myself is being so entrenched in the church right now. So people right now are not asking, what do I need to change? What is wrong? What do I need to improve? They are saying who to blame. Is it who is responsible? Who is standing for it? Who is behind it? Who is behind it in my father's house, in my mother's? Who is behind the problem? And this is all in an attempt to keep people coming. So that when you tell them that it is somebody who is responsible, then you are the big man of God. You are the one who has revelation. You are the one who has prophecy. So people will come into you. But when you tell people no, the reason they fired you from your job is not because somebody in your village, it's because you are not diligent enough. Because you are not working extra hours. It's because you are not providing the best services. That makes you to want to improve yourself. The reason they didn't promote you is because you didn't go to do extra class. You didn't go to do your master's. You didn't pursue you didn't improve yourself. Not because your stepmother is bad. So there are two worldviews. The worldview that says it's somebody that's responsible only breeds enmity, suspicion, hatred, anger, kills love. But the worldview that says, no, if you are responsible, work on yourself, it brings improvement, self-improvement, growth, development, advancement. Because you say, okay, what's responsible for that cancer? Instead of looking for the enemy, you look for a solution. You do research. You build institutions. You build hospitals. So it leads you to creativity and discovery. So people should know that my concern for the Nigerian church and my madness is much more deeper than calling out names. If you are going to judge me just by the calling of names, it means you are too surface. Because that's only what you see from the surface. Let's go a little bit deeper. You begin to see that there are some senses in what I'm saying. Because these things destroy the foundation of the society. And what are the foundations of the society? Value systems. So instead of the values being the foundation of society right now, we are now having vices. For people not to work, to be doing services every day or going to mountain, for half of the year, that is not those are vices that will destroy the foundation of the society. For people to be expecting breakthrough instead of working for it, those are vices. For people to be asking who instead of what, those are vices. And those things destroy the very foundation of the society. These 2 books will not be my last books. I'm going to keep on writing onto this topic of diligence and excellence. And I even have another book on excellence, I guess. I think I have a book on excellence. Yeah. Can you find it for me? Because excellence is also part of what we're talking about. It's part of labor, it's part of work, part of diligence. Do you know that in my country right now, you cannot get almost anybody to do an excellent work for you, from laborer to plumber? You would rather go to Togo or somewhere to import them, or Benin Republic, because they do quality work, because they don't have so many churches. They don't have revival. They don't even go to church. They don't have apostle of prosperity. They have not been taught that one day of favor is better than 10 days of. Who is this Oyibo Kolo that came here? Hey, you people, you and Babusha. She disappeared. So we need to know that what these pastors are doing is destroying the foundation of the society. This goes beyond church. It is the basis of corruption. When you tell people that there is breakthrough, it means that take a shortcut. So if I see any amount of money that is, not accounted for, I will say it's breakthrough, my breakthrough that has come. I will say it is the breakthrough that the pastor pronounced on Sunday that has come to pass. If I'm supposed to give a contract by merit, I would rather give it to my wife or set up a company and say, it is my opportunity. So merit will be discarded. And the person you gave the job to will never be able to build a good road. It will spoil in the next 2 months. So the whole foundation of the society is destroyed when there is no excellence, when there is no values, when there are no values like this. I just hope people will be able to understand the reason for my madness. Am I mad? I guess I am to some people. I thought I was okay, but I am discovering otherwise very fast. I'm discovering otherwise very fast. But I might be mad, but there are some arguments for my madness. There are some reasons for those madness. Because right now I don't even know who is okay, who is mad anymore. I used to think I was the one who was okay, but right now, when I'm the only one who is strange, I'm now thinking maybe I'm the one who is not okay. Because that's the way they make me feel when you read those comments. That I'm the one who is not okay. They are the ones who are okay. The papas. But I say, if you are the ones who are okay, why is it the nation is not working? Why is it that the Congolese who don't go to church can do better laboring work and quality work than that? Because when we didn't go to church also, we were doing better. When we were going to Catholics and the Anglican and Methodists and Baptists, we were okay. Our mind had not been messed up. Yes. I was faster than you to find it here. Look at the lady sitting there. She got it here. So, you know what I think? Things that are first of all rejected, they normally come back and take the center stage. Like they used to say, ladies shouldn't wear trousers. Now they do. They used to say women shouldn't vote. Now they are presidents. They used to, all kind of things that people used to be rejected. Even homosexuality that used to be rejected is now accepted in some places. So, you see, I think maybe these things will still get to our people. Even though it might be rejected now, but I think maybe it will still come across. If we push. But that's what's surprising to me, because everybody knows Nigeria is not working, but they still keep on going to those churches, you know. Because they have been brainwashed so bad. They are conditioned, yeah. I mean, can you believe it that in my country, people will tell you, okay, for example, a pastor that I really respected. I mean, this guy even comes to my platform, you know. Sometimes. He's not my disciple, but he's like a big guy. He came and wrote me a letter and said, Pastor Sunday, can you imagine what Pastor Chris Oyakilome has done again? I said, what did he do? He said, forget about Chris Oyakilome. Me, I don't even listen to what he says anymore. But I'm sure that Chris Oyakilome is listening to me sometimes. But anyway, this guy now came with the biggest surprise of my own life. I thought he's supposed to be praising Chris Oyakilome for this one, but he's condemning him. So I said, what did he do this time? He said, Chris Oyakilome went and said that there is nothing like husband. Is it spiritual? What do you call it? Is it spiritual? There is nothing like spiritual husband and Mami Water Spirit. Yeah. He said, how can a man of God and believe that there is nothing like spiritual husband? I said, see me see trouble. Things are too bad. Can you believe it? They are saying that how can Chris Oyakilome condemn? I said, this is one thing he got right. And you, the normal ministers, the ones who are spiritual, you are now saying, how can he say that? So you believe? I said that our darkness is too much. This one is one of the progressive, this one is the revolutionary who said it. Eh? How can you say there is no spiritual husband? He has backslidden. I said the person you are complaining to, you don't know that he's also backsliding. That if to go by that definition, I have been backsliding before Chris got it. I have been saying there is no spiritual husband long time ago. It means I have been backsliding earlier. And you are coming to me to complain. The sheep backslider. The sheep antichrist. How can he say there is no Bobby water? Pray, guys, just pray for me that this my lawsuit here should end up on time. I need to go to that country. And God, oh, look who came. Pastor Rory! Pastor Rory, you didn't lose weight this time. Pastor Rory, welcome.
You're welcome.
That's our Jewish, Swedish, American pastor. He has all the citizenships of the world. So, what do we say to this? We need a revolutionary approach. They are telling me, oh, what you are saying is okay, but the way you are saying, I said, you wait till I come. You think the way I'm saying is bad now? You think we need more revolutionary approach? Yeah. You think I'm mad now? You will go and see, the real one. I mean, running the market madness. That's the one we are talking about. Yeah, the running the market madness. How how can, yes, Otija, what they call it? Otija Waja, yeah. The madness that don't enter market, yes. The one that don't, yes, the one that don't enter market. That, yeah.
How do you get that one first?
That's the one you will see when we get on ground. Because I'm not on ground here, you are thinking I'm too radical. Which radical when I'm not even there? You say, oh, we don't, it's the method. We need to have radical method. Because our things, you know, when something has gone to one extreme, for you to even bring it back to the center, you've got to go to the other extreme. And then maybe if you are lucky, to settle in the center. So for you now to be saying, no, we just have to patch it. It will never move. No. It will not move, even past where it was. Talk less of getting to the center. You've got to pull it to the other side. So, can you go back to the slide? To the title? Yeah. Principles of transformation of a nation through work, diligence, and money. There is another book I need to have here. We call it The Dignity of Labor. How to transform a nation through the dignity of labor. Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, I have it. Yeah, so, you know, I thought there is another topic still. This is it. How to become a developed nation through the dignity of labor. Yeah. So I have 4 books on this topic. How to become a developed nation through the dignity of labor. Excellence, your key to elevation. Why you must urgently become a workaholic. Work is better than vacation. Labor better than favor. Yeah. I said I'm going to write 10 books minimum on this kind of different dimensions of things. Because we need to uproot these vices from our society. And from our pulpits also. Because why should I write books? You say why? Because first of all, people need to know the truth. Secondly, pastors are asking me, okay, you are saying these things we are preaching is bad. When I listen to you finish that, I don't know what to talk about again when I get to church on Sunday. Okay? That's why I said, before I come to really start the revolution, at least you will have something. So that when you don't know what to talk about again, you will get new material. You'll be able to know. Because some people tell me, what will I talk? If you said all these things are, everything I know is wrong. So what will... it's like cutting my hands and my feet and then stand there. I can't stand because I don't have feet to stand on. No more message. All the messages are wrong. If all the messages are wrong, that's why we need to write new books. Books that will be able to show you the Bible perspective and bring the truth out. So that's why I think people need this. And not just pastors, but even Christians. We need new talk, new doctrines. Yeah, new messages. Yes, new mindset. And that's why we need to write the books. Okay, let's go to the next page again.
Proverbs chapter 10, verse
Stronger, sir. Stronger. You look bigger than me, and it's like you are even more well-fed, safe. And you are even younger. Me, I'm an old man. I can talk stronger than you. So if you are a young man, make use of your strength.
Yeah. Proverbs chapter 10, verse 4.
Now we are talking.
He who has a slack hand becomes poor, but the hand of the diligent makes rich.
Yes. So that's what we are talking about. It's not just concerning individuals. It's concerning nations. So nations will remain poor as long as they are slack. And one area where we are slack also is in the area of time. Because it's not just talking about laziness, it's all form of slackness. And we are slack in terms of time too. And when you are slack like that, in time of time, when you are supposed to start a meeting at 10 and you are starting it at 12, 2 hours later, that slackness will lead to poverty. Any country where people don't pay attention to time, and when people just are slack in regards to time, all those countries suffer economically. Because it doesn't lead to wealth. It leads to poverty. It leads to poverty. So I'm writing a book now on that. It's going to be called How Every African Country Can Double Our GDP. Just by maximizing time. How to maximize time every minute and make every minute be productive. If you can make every hour productive, and just that alone will double our GDP. But I've not yet. I've just finished. I'm just about to finish that one. Not yet ready. But yeah. So slackness in work, slackness in timing, and in culture, in doctrines, worldviews, these things lead to poverty. And the churches, unfortunately, are the ones who are bringing these things up. It's, especially laziness and things like that. So we need help. We need to quickly hand over a new message to our generation, to our children's generation. And some of us who are still hoping to live for another 30 to 40 years, we are hoping to still see it.
Yes.
Because even though I talk about death all the time, but I'm not getting ready to die.
Yeah.
I just talk about it just to say in case, because it's in God's hand. But I plan to be around to bring about the revolution, you see. Yeah. So here we go.
If any nation is to experience abundance and prosperity, the citizens must be taught to love work and not slack.
Okay.
Proverbs chapter 24, verse 32 to 34. When I saw it, I considered it well. I looked on it and received instruction. A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest. So shall your poverty come like a polar, and your need like an armed man.
Well, unfortunately, that's what we have in our nation. And that's what we do. You remember the film we watched yesterday about America and about working hours and about, they are even telling Americans that you have a chance to take 6 weeks. So most of them are saying, 80% of people say, no, we want to go back. Even the 2 weeks they have, they are still cutting it short and coming back to work. And after hours, they call them extra work, or what do you call it? Overtime. What? Nobody even practices that in our place anymore. Overtime. But that's why economy grows. The more you produce, the more you have. But our own is little rest, little party, little owambe, and all kind of that's what we celebrate. We are not celebrating work. So that culture needs to change. We don't celebrate work in our place. Pastors tell us that work is a curse. And labor is even more a curse. So God is the one who is cursed then, because God works. Jesus is cursed then, because Jesus works. Okay?
Slothfulness or laziness is the first reason for poverty.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, Africa, and this is not to insult Africans, but the word of God remains. We need to do better in the area of changing the mindset of our people in regards to work. Okay, for example, all of us in Africa used to think that we work hard until we go to Europe. I don't know of you, but when you get to Europe or America, you discover that, wow, I don't work before at all. Yes, I've not worked before at all. Now work they start. And that's why a lot of pastors in Europe, they don't work, African pastors. They don't go to work. They work in church. They say that is their work. Yeah. Yes, that's what they call it. And I say, what are you doing with full time? If you are full time, we must see the product. We must see the resources. I became full time because, we were already having 2,000 people. If you have 2,000 people, okay, be full time. If you are having 20 people and you are full time, I don't understand. I bought my first car when we were already having 2,000 people in church. You know, but if you can work, then work and buy your jet, but not on the back of the poor people. Okay?
For a nation to be great, it must have a deeply rooted culture of work.
You see, all those countries that we saw, they are great because they have deeply rooted culture. Where are the videos? Have we gone? Let's see some videos, please. Are you okay? No surprises. Please.
Depending upon how well you do, particularly if you're starting a company, you need to work super hard. So what does super hard mean? Well, when my brother and I were starting our first company, instead of getting an apartment, we just rented a small office and we slept on the couch.
The people here,
and we showered at the YMCA, and we're so hot up we had just one computer, so the website was up during the day, and I was coding at night, 7 days a week, all the time. And I briefly had a girlfriend in that period, and in order to be with me, she had just...
Brad. Hello. Как тебя зовут? Ваня. Слушай, бери. Мы будем здесь показывать на экран, а камера просто пускай берет с экрана на это самое и все. He said they are going to see it over there, and we just by faith. As if it is those words at home I'm teaching. The people here are the priority. They pay for their tickets to be here. The fact that we are showing it on the internet is just just our magnanimity, to our kindness, to the kindness of all these people who bought their tickets. They are the priority. And now you want to put them at the backyard and say you want to show to the people in the internet. No, you should show to the ones here. So another item computer and показывать в зал. Where are the men even? All these men, they are going to work. They don't want to take holidays to be able to do HMT for us.
What is the name of the video?
So this night that they've called it. Это же другой провод. Это, по-моему, это другой провод. Это напрямую сын зайдет без белого, без белых представь. Okay, Babusha, I think what you need is what we used to do to connect to the television. Is the connection to this Mac notebook. That's what we need to bring, I guess. That's what he is looking for. That's why he cannot use this one. Sorry, guys, for those one of you at home on the internet. They are having technical challenges here. We hope we'll be able to resolve it.
There you go. It's right here.
A zvuk, yes tam. Надо подключить звук куда-то там. Или у
You
вас?
have to plug it.
The volume now, right?
You gotta play it.
I think I've dealt with some of the adversities, some of the challenges, of which we've had many. You know, I started a band and the world laughed at me.
Will you need the microphone for the so that it will be?
You want to get your work ethic so high that people actually admire you. I'm going to ask you a question right now.
Is that the
Do people
volume?
know you
Is
because
it
of
working?
your unbelievable work ethic? If you can't answer yes to that,
Ethan
man, you're
Ashala.
not going to get in that top 10%. You got to get at the top.
Ethan
People have to
Ashala.
know you, not because, oh, he's a good salesman. Oh, he's a good this. Oh, he's an artist. Oh, he's a good pianist. Oh, he...
No matter what.
You want to get your work
Ethan Aveno
ethic
need
so
to
high
nada
that people
pokazać
actually
ludzie
admire you. I'm
što
going to ask you a
gabarita
question right
strana.
now. Do people know you
Napita dość
because
robić
of your
drugoje, которые
unbelievable
astrane
work ethic?
gabarity nie.
If you can't answer yes to that, man, you're
работает
not going to get in
с
that
вами,
top 10%. You got to get at the top.
Или
People have to
вчерашний
know you,
напрягался.
not because, oh, he's a good salesman. Oh, he's a good this. Oh, he's an artist. Oh, he's a good pianist. Oh, he writes a great, story. No, dude, people need to know you for one major thing
показываете на
first.
интернете,
He
в интернет,
works. He
идет.
produces. The guy's there every day. The guy's pushing and shoving. Because the truth is, no
Да, это
matter
не
how
то, что
good your
надо.
ideas are, how
Stop,
good
stop,
your
stop.
art is, or how good
This is not what we needed. We needed the one we showed yesterday. You have the one we showed yesterday?
Yes, but I don't have it on this computer. I only have it on the Mac.
Okay, don't worry. Okay. Okay, let's go back to the note at least. Let's continue the note. We'll do the video later. All right, so Al, can you continue?
For a nation to be great, it must have a deeply rooted culture of work. That is a national consciousness that encourages the love for work.
Yeah. So with a national consciousness we need to set up in Africa. It's a cultural thing. We need to, and who remembers, how did we say we could change that? How could we make a whole nation to begin to live right? How could we change attitude and the heart of people? Who remembers from yesterday?
Propagation and legislation.
Yes. You know the way they did it in Russia here? They did it through legislation. Even though it worked, but it's counterproductive. When you only rely on legislation, so how did they do it? What they did is that at 9 o'clock in the morning, everybody must either be on the way to work or at work. So the police are instructed to go out every 2 hours. At 12, at 10, 12, 2, 4, you patrol the shops and the cities to see anybody walking free. So if you are walking free, then you have to produce your papers that you have holidays that time, or you're on vacation, or that your work has released you to be free. Why are you not working? That's legislation. China is like that. Japan is like that. But Japan now, it has also become a culture. through propagation. And America is through propagation. So propagation is what we just saw yesterday. Let's show that film of yesterday when we can do the video. Let's do the video of yesterday. So the propagation is what we saw with America. When they are telling them, do you know that all other countries in Europe take vacation for minimum 6 weeks? And you only have 2 weeks? And he said, yeah, we know it's okay, but we like it better here. You like 2 weeks better than 6 weeks holiday? He said, yeah. Then it went ahead to say that even those who have 2 weeks, sometimes they cut it short to come back. That is, they are brainwashed. That is what propagation can do. They have brainwashed the people's mind so much that they have now believed that work is better than vacation. That is the kind of culture we should be aiming to create in Africa. That is the kind of changing culture that we should be aiming at. To make our people to begin to believe that work is better than vacation. When you attain that, there is no way that country will not develop. And that's what Japan also has attained. China has attained it. But it's not natural to the nature of man. It is only through informed, intentional, purposeful cultivation of culture. So these things were done intentionally. And we need to be intentional in making our people embrace the culture of work. Yes, sir.
Okay. As the Bible used to talk sometime about Mammon works and God's works, at which time can we have the difference, between, let's say, I don't want to work for Uncle Sam or for Mammon, but I'm working, but I'm working for God. At which level do you make the difference between two of them instead at the level of individual and for the nation?
Beautiful. Oh, it means Pastor Pierre has done a very good work at you. Beautiful question. It means you know a lot. You know a lot more than average human being. Because average human being don't know the difference between working for Uncle Sam and that's the only kind of work most people know. So kudos to you. Thank you. And that reminds me of that book. Is that book there, Stop Working for Uncle Sam? That should be alongside this. So that we make the distinction between work, just working for Uncle Sam and the kind of work that we are talking about. Because the kind of work that we are talking about is not just about working for Uncle Sam. In my own understanding, work should be 80% working for your calling, working for your destiny, working for your purpose, work should be, first of all, to accomplish. Stop working for Uncle Sam. Can you find a book for me? Okay, so number one, work should be to fulfill your calling and mission in life. Secondly, work should be to discover yourself. Thirdly, work should be to maximize the resources of God in you. Fourthly, work should be to discover the resources that God has put on the earth so that you can use it to glorify Him. Work should be a source of provision for the world, for yourself. So a lot of things that proper work should be for. But right now, most work is just for Uncle Sam, that's it. So when I'm talking about work, I'm talking about work in these senses, not in the sense of Uncle Sam. Now, sometimes there is a need for work to be for Uncle Sam too, because you need to get experience. At that stage, you might need to work for Uncle Sam. You might need to need some time before you discover yourself. So in the way and the process of discovering yourself, you might need to work for Uncle Sam as well. And sometimes you need to be faithful in something that is another man's thing. So that might be another reason to work for Uncle Sam right now. Or maybe your income is not enough. Your calling, where you make your own calling, is not enough for you to to have enough provision for you, to make enough money. That way, you might need to work for Uncle Sam so that you just have money to survive. But in that sense, maybe you are working 80%, 40% of the time for Uncle Sam, or 60%, then the rest of the time you are working for your calling. So there some need for you to work for Uncle Sam sometimes. But when I'm talking about work, I'm really talking about all these other things. Working for your purpose, working for the fulfillment of your calling, working to discover and to, conquer your promised land, and working to fulfill your vision and God's mandate on your life, working to discover yourself, working to be a source of blessing. All these things rather than the work just to survive. Because working for Uncle Sam means you are working to survive. Working for Uncle Sam means you are working to make a living. Working for Uncle Sam means you are working for money. Working for Uncle Sam means you are the servant of work and of money. Working for Uncle Sam means that money is not working for you. You are working for money. It's making you subhuman. It's making you the horse. In the 18th century, they used to have the horse. Is it the horse you call it? The horse and the cart, yeah. So you are the horse pulling the cart. That is what it means working for Uncle Sam. Yes. And that is well and better explained in this book. Start working for Uncle Sam. And also here, work is better than vacation. Labor is better than favor. And also here, dignity of labor. Yeah, please.
Thank you, Pastor. So, what are the principles, or how could we then, at the level of a nation, help people to work not for just money or for the business, because everyone is not believers in a nation. If we want to maybe change the things, so how could we introduce the notion of calling in the work of all these people who are not all believers?
Oh, beautiful. You know that, when it comes to self-fulfillment and self-realization, discovering who you are, working according to your calling, working according to your purpose, it's not only believers who talk about this. Somebody yesterday mentioned a name of Anthony Robbins or something. Is it Robbins you call him? Anthony Robbins? Tony Robbins, yeah. So that Tony Robbins, he's also talking about calling, and not just him, motivational speakers, companies. So why? Because it doesn't matter if you are a Christian, you are not a Christian, you are a Buddhist, everybody wants to find fulfillment. So the topic of fulfillment should be introduced, or self-discovery is part of the enlightenment and the education and propagation we're talking about. We have to let people, the whole country, know. And that is the problem with the West. The Western countries, they don't make you to know that you have a calling. They just make you to realize you need to survive. So that is because that is the way the economy and the world system has been built. But Uncle Sam is interested in that. Uncle Sam is not interested in you discovering yourself. Uncle Sam is interested in you just working for them. Because Uncle Sam is looking at mechanics. Uncle Sam is looking at the horse and the cart. So they are just looking at, you are a human being, but you are just a horse to them. You are just a cart and a horse. So, but the whole foundation of the society, any society could be based on this foundation, whereby the whole society has educational system. And, this educational system that we have right now is coming from the 15th century. 15th, 16th, 14th century, and where everything was put there, and everybody just reproducing the same. It's just a conveyor. But right now, a lot of people are already saying the educational system needs to be re-examined, the subjects and things. So one of the subjects that will come in the future in educational system in the primary, secondary school must be to help all students discover who they are and what they have passion for, who they want to be. So you might have passion to come and do something, repairs. Things will still work, but everybody will just be in the place where they need to work. And so that it might not be the whole country, but If we could get 50% of the people to work for what they want to do, then the whole world will be much happier. And the whole nation will be more happy. Now, there will be times when you know your calling is to become somebody else, but right now, because you are a student, you still need to work in McDonald's. That's okay. You know you are supposed to become this, but right now you need to do something else. But that will still be there. But at least you will know you are on your way to your calling, to wherever you are going. I don't know if I answer your question. Yeah. Anybody want to say anything about this?
I just want to say,
yes.
Take time. You can give yourself a time of maybe 2 years. I just have 2 years to work here.
Yes.
To be able to,
yes.
to make money to invest in my calling.
Right.
You know, just to get skill on,
yeah.
Your calling.
Or to make money for your next endeavor. Yeah. Yes, please.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
This is, let's assume I'm in Nigeria, but I'm not. And maybe I'm used to the...
you are so incredibly flamboyant. I can't stop looking at you.
Thank you, Pastor. And I should...
Let her talk where she is now. Just talk, Jerry.
Okay. So let's assume I'm in Nigeria right now, and I'm used to not going to work early. Even if I don't go, they are paying me. I can goof off. I can do what I want. How will the person develop this work ethic for a global level, coming from that background? Because if you're talking about Uncle Sam, the person does not even know, you know, like let's say a typical person that just used to going to a one-bed party and all that. So where does the person start? What can be like a system of when you get to this level, then you go to this level? That's what.
Yeah, if the person is not going to come across this material, he will just think he's living a normal life. And he will be living in ignorance, thinking he's living a normal life. And a lot of people in our continent and in my country, sorry to say, are thinking they are living the normal life. They might even be thinking they are enjoying. But really, they are being wasted. So what you are saying is a big deal. And that's why I want to believe, God, that a lot of you who are here now will receive the challenge and the calling to go to Africa to educate people about these things. Even if you don't go to Africa, it's my prayer that one day somebody will take this book up and do live broadcasts just on it, and do reviews. Or this book, Labor is Better Than Favor, and do reviews just on this book. Or on this book, Dignity of Labor. If we need as many people as possible talking about these things. I would not be talking about this thing because there's so many new things for me to talk about. So I'm done. I write the material, I put it out there, and I'm going to another one. So we will need people to take over all these issues and educate people. If our people are not educated or enlightened, or people don't have what they call self-development by themselves, they don't discover these things, they will never be able to compete on work. They are going to remain like that. And we are going to be wasted as a continent, as a people, as a nation. We are never going to catch up. We are just going to think we are living life, but we are actually lagging behind and being wasted away. So we would need a lot of, maybe one thing God could help us to do, if the church, if there will be an open door for all these books to be introduced in schools, then we could move very fast and catch up with the rest of the world. So the whole culture needs to be changed. Or we might need to have, if we were to be in a position of government or influence in Nigeria, when I go to Nigeria, I plan to do this. We will need an enlightening program, enlightenment, propaganda, or education. So, I have a lot of plans on how to bring this to the ears of as many people as possible so that we could adopt. But with the way we are so backward, it would have been good if we could get governors, politicians to really put this on a national level. It will make us to wake up faster, and it will help us to galvanize our people to a giving goal and change and values faster. But right now, the way it's going to be extremely slow.
I think if we target all groups of people, we have the speed. With the help of God, we can speed up. What I meant by that is if they target people locally, maybe older men, have an evening out with everybody, have a practical discussion, market people. If we have different group of people, not just on educational level, but people on the grassroots, showing them the video, talking to them on a community level, I believe there's still room for improvement. Never
dying spirit of Nigeria, positive. I think Grace wants to add to it. Yeah? No? Okay. Matilda is here.
So this is what I'm thinking. Like I wrote, like, it's not finished proposal, but I have this idea since I started listening to you, and with all this book, that's why I ordered a bunch of your books. I have a lot of them. Like the project I'm thinking about, but they think that I'm crazy. Like when I share my vision, what I have.
You need to be a little bit crazy to make a difference, really.
Yeah, so they say I'm crazy. You're out of your mind. Like a couple of these Sierra Leoneans that I'm talking
Only
about. What I want to do.
Only people who are crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like my idea, I'm thinking of opening like a vocational institute. So have your books. Like I have a bunch of them. Like we all can do it for every nation. You open a vocational institute, and just target a group. Like youth, for me, youth in my country, because they are really broken in my country. So my desire is for the youth. By the grace of God, if God help me, but I have some battle that I have to cross. That's one of the reasons too I started taking social work too. So the vocational institute, like you can develop, like Pastor was saying, like the research center. So one will be like just teaching them, like so you take a book, like it doesn't matter. Like the little kids, you can start teaching them from little. Each person can target like a group. Like for the kids from, let's say from 7 till 11, and then from 12 to 24, and then the elder. Like we can do it if we all work together as a team. Like this goal it's reachable, I think.
Wow, beautiful, beautiful.
I don't know if I have the permission to take you back to yesterday's teaching, because we ended late, and that there wasn't. I believe you took that decision because you were seeing us a little bit strong. We were really, really strong yesterday. Now, looking at you, we've been saying it that religion has always been the problem, and that what has been the real problem. I mean, the root of the problem there in Africa, not only in Nigeria, is this the church and the religion. Most of those things that has brainwashed the people. Now, looking from the nations, I mean, some of them that has been applying the Sharia law, because yesterday it was more or less introducing the 10 Commandments. Now, as I was saying, it could have been even good if in future we have that opportunity. That is, if they give you that opportunity to, teach the house of assembly. Taking it higher. Because that message was even, it's a blessing to us, and that we are opportune to hear it. But it should be something that one should take to a higher level, because that is where we can really achieve the real goal. Nigeria.
How to change a nation through
10 Commandments. Now, we have countries, we have nations that have been, I would say France, they have it as a model. U.S. also has it as a
And
model.
push it is victim.
And in Nigeria, I have an old friend, Pastor Bosun Ajayi, who came up with that some years back, and that he also was saying religion was the problem of Nigeria. That many of those papas also kicked against him and did everything to wipe him out from the surface. Now, if Ten Commandments, if it will be introduced based on these teachings, what has Ten Commandments got that Sharia doesn't have? Because he was saying, and based on the teachings and many of the things he came up with, he said the foundation of Nigeria itself was a foundation on Sharia. And that secretly, many of the things, either in our constitution, in the Nigerian note, I mean the money itself, many of it are in Sharia. They are Sharia, and that was why many of the governors also have that boldness to go ahead and say, look, my own state wants to practice Sharia. Now, most of our Christian, whenever we have those Christian presidents, we don't always hear, they've never, I'm very sure they have never come to know that 10 Commandments can also serve even more better purpose. So, what does 10 Commandments has more better than their so-called Sharia that we need to pass as a message to them? That is my first question, sir.
That's very interesting. Sharia talks a lot about details, especially when you talk about Sharia law. Sharia law is more like the Old Testament of what to do in every instance. Whoever steals, you cut off their hand. Whoever, does something, adultery, you stone them. Whatever, whoever does it. So Sharia is more like the implementation of the punitive measures for those people who violate. But the good thing with the 10 Commandments is that it doesn't tell you what to do or how to punish anybody. It's more preventive of evil. So the 10 Commandments are principles that will help you to prevent, do not steal. It's not saying go and cut off the hand of somebody. It's more preventive. So it's saying that do not kill. It's just telling you things that would not be no good for you. Don't worship another God. Honor father and mother. Very neutral. Not saying what will happen or something. Just saying these things are not good for you. So that is a very good positive part of 10 Commandments. So what I would do is, like I said, those 10 Commandments, I put them in a secular format yesterday so that it doesn't sound religious. So we could now, on our own, reframe it into secular laws and determine the kind of consequences, just like in the civil laws, that will come for the punishment of all those things, rather than using Sharia law that is so crude, in the form of implementation of foreign. So that is what I would say is the thing that the 10 Commandments has that Sharia doesn't have. It's more civilized, and it gives you the freedom to determine as a community and a society what punishment to mete out for what misbehavior, rather than telling you just that. Because if it had said it in the 10 Commandments that anybody that does this, that laws should go out of the air, that you will never be able to change it. You will just say, well, the Bible has said it, or the 10 Commandments has said it. That's the problem the Muslims are having. The Muslims are having the problem with Sharia because it has told them that if you steal, that hand must be cut. And they cannot modify it or modernize it. They cannot now say, okay, we take that the part of it we don't say. But the good thing with 10 Commandments is that it just tells you these things are not healthy, they are not good for you, and these are the things to do to be good for you. So you now, as a group of people, that's why you now need your own parliament, or you now need your own legislation to now say, okay, what should we do to people who violate it? What punishment should we? So you still have your own, but this is just like a guardian for you. You're a guide too, yeah.
Thank you. Maybe the last one. We have countries like America that have it in some places, and
Yes.
The Ten Commandments.
Yes.
They have it as a monument,
Yes.
and that there has been war and war all along against this monument, and that some of them has already won cases that they should be removed from those places. In
Yes.
other words, some spiritual consequences. Now, you came up with a solution,
Yes.
especially that of Africa, if they can apply this 10 Commandments. For countries that have been practicing such before, and that they are about, or maybe as they always say, majority carries the vote.
Yeah.
They are about to remove it. What is your, I would say, advice to them? Because we have a solution for those who do not have it at all. But those that have it already, what do you think might be the consequences of removing such from their law? Because we've been seeing how it has been helping them. I mean, practicing some of those things, even if it is not up to the level you explained yesterday.
That's a very serious question. It's a very, very serious question you just asked now. You don't even know how serious that question is. So what will happen and what are the consequences to nations that used to practice 10 commandments and use 10 commandments as the basis? Are you sure the camera is on me?
Yes.
Okay. So Babusha, you say it's yes. He's just doing it now. Okay. So, so what are the consequences? As if you are in the spirit. Because you are not aware, I'm sure, of the fact that I'm just finishing working now. I have my editor somewhere there, I don't know. You know, yeah, but don't worry. But I'm just finishing work, and I think maybe it will work out for us to be able to publish the book before you people go. Maybe you could get a copy of it. I'm just finishing it. I just need the editor to help me finish it. But I'm just finishing a book. I finished writing it already. Just needed to clean it. But that is called Why Nations Die. So the Holy Spirit is moving you somehow, I don't know. And I want them to be able to finish that book. Is sufficient somewhere there? Success, my God, I said sufficient. Is it there? No? Okay. So, yeah, I wonder how you people got it. Because we need to release that book. We need to release that book for you people, at least you people are here, for you people to have the opportunity to have it. But it's going to be a thick book like that one. Where is there the big book there? Yeah, it's going to be like this. Why Nations Die. It's going to be as thick as this one, as big as this. So, but we have to send it to the publisher before you people go so that you can have it. So Why Nations Die is going to be 3 books like this. It's going to be in 3 volumes, 500 pages each. Maybe 600 pages each, yeah. So it's more serious than you thought. So the one I finished doing right now is volume 1. Then we'll do volume 2. Then volume 3. So the question you ask for the nations that used to have the right principles, the biblical principles to build their nations on, and now they are removing it. Well, Why nations die. Reasons why, yeah. What will happen to them? Number one, the same thing will happen to them that has happened to the black race and Africa. If you read my book, How Africans Brought Civilization to Europe, can you believe it that Africans used to rule Europe for 700 years? History. Do you know that, almost any country of Europe and America you will find that black people used to rule. But nobody even remembers that today until you go and read that book and see the documents. I think I have that book somewhere there. How Africans Brought Civilization to Europe. Okay. So, it should be, I saw it yesterday here somewhere. Okay. Why don't you just let it be here all the time? How Africans Brought Civilization to Europe. These are not my thoughts. These are archaeological documentaries and documents. Okay, you will see African traces everywhere. So why is it that right now there is even no remembrance of it? Because of what you have just asked. When people forsake the source of the living waters, when they forsake the source of life, and that's one of the reasons why I think that it will take a miracle of God for America not to fall, for example. Because if they are going to reject all those basic principles, the greatest empire, and I wrote about this in this country, Why Nations Die, the greatest empire that has ever lived is the Roman Empire. This is an empire that existed and reigned as the number one country in the world for close to 1,000 years. A country, empire, reigning as the number one country in the world, like America now. I mean, America is existing as a whole just for 200 years. And is reigning as superpower, as number one country in the world only after the Second World War. Only since the 50s or 60s. So that's how many years? 50 years? And I'm talking about 1,000 years. And still failed. Because principles are violated. So those things you are talking about, countries that remove these basic principles that this civilization is built on, these countries that remove those foundation of their own civilization, the countries might suffer the same fate as the black race has suffered. And in our own case, we later on embraced occultism. We embraced witchcraft. And that now led to the consequences of being sold out, scattered. Just the same destiny that happened to the ones who wanted to build the Tower of Babel. So they were anybody that wants to rebel against God like that. There is no way some punishment will not come or curse. There will be reprisal. What do you call it? Reprisal. Is it reprisal? No. What was the word? Huh? There will be repercussions. And God will come to punish, like he scattered the something. Okay, for example, what was the problem of the Babel? What do you call it? The Tower of Babel. The problem was not because they had a vision. I mean, it's a good thing that they had a vision. Kate is looking for you. Okay, we need to finish that now, today. Okay, good. Go and do that so that we could, because another data to Knigu Sivonia with Peshati. Catholic, why countries fail. So when it finishes, you send it to Kate and Natalia. tell Kate that if success finishes today, the work it needs to do, we need to give it today to Adelaja to finish today, so that we could be able to publish it for people, because I already mentioned it. Now that I've mentioned it, now I'm in trouble. So go and do work. You are set free from all work here. Go and do what you need to do. So, the Tower of Babel, their main problem is not because God is jealous. Because if you read that story in the Bible, it says, because they want to attain to God. That's why God came to scatter them. It makes God look kind of like jealous, or God angry, or God doesn't want them to be ambitious. No, that's not the idea. Huh? No, God is not against them having one language too. The idea was that God gave them the whole earth, expanse of the earth, and say, be fruitful, multiply, subdue the earth. You leave the whole expanse and you want to go out there. What's wrong with you? How can you leave? God is saying spread. Go and conquer the whole place. So they were there in Israel. They didn't discover Africa. They didn't discover America. They didn't discover Europe. You want to go up. Well, you have expanse of land here, territory. You want to just stay here and go. What? I don't know if you get it. It is, they are screwed. So God is object. I gave you work to do. You want to go and do your own. What's your problem? Yes. Running from the direct responsibility of what you are supposed to do. So what I'm saying is that the same thing with the civilizations like this, like America or Europe. I mean, I think Trump is one of the greatest deliverance to America right now. Because if America had continued with the Clintons, Obama, even though the Clintons are my friend, but Obama and Clinton, those Democrats, I said, they were ready to make all countries legalize gay, homosexuality. They were putting so much pressure to legalize abortion in every country. If you don't legalize abortion, you will not get American help or help. If you don't legalize gay, you will not get... they were doing crazy stuff. They were turning this our world into Antichrist world. So that is the favor of God upon America that Trump was elected. So Trump, he's a narcissist. He's a narcissist. He's a psychopathic narcissist. But he's the only kind of guy like that. Only narcissistic psychopath like him can be used by God to do the kind of thing he's doing. I don't know if you get it. Because all the normal people in America, they are too politically correct. All the normal politicians, they will not dare it. That's why God couldn't use any one of them. But someone who is narcissistic psychopath, like he doesn't care. Any decision they take, that is what God can use. You need somebody who is rugged. You need somebody who is a little bit crazy, like I said. Somebody was saying, they would say I'm crazy. Don't be afraid of it. You need to be a little bit crazy to make something different. And so you say, so that is, I don't know if they will allow him to go all the way, because they are really fighting him. But if they had given him the freedom, a little bit more freedom that Trump, he would have returned a lot of things that the evil people have done against America and the world. So, but if they don't support Trump, if they remove him, if they succeed in overthrowing him, if America goes back to that way they were going before, then there will be nothing to save that country. I don't know. But so what are the reasons for the fall? Like I told you, I have 600-page book that will be released this week. Then 2 more 600 pages books will come after. Second volume, third volume will also come too. So meanwhile, at least that one, the first volume, you will see black and white, why nations die. and why countries fail.